Welcome back. As you know, I am Eli, the computer guy here for the Daily Blob, where I shake my brain nipples every day to get some of that dirty YouTube money so I can afford to provide you folks in-person hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is you want to do in Durham, North Carolina. Silicon Dojo, silicondojo.com. We're having a class on AI and SQL tonight. We're having a class on AI and web scraping on November 19th. We're having more classes coming up. If you're interested in those, take a look at silicondojo.com to look at the schedule. Do remember, free to the end user is not actually free, and literally printing dozens of workbooks for the class tonight sure as hell isn't free. Staples does not accept payments in passion. So if you want to support my project, there is a donor box link down below, and any support that you provide would be ever so appreciated. And so now let's get into the fun of talking about how screwed up the current economy is. The economy under Trump. You know, to be honest with you, I would actually feel better if this was going to plan. If you said Trump's plan for the American economy is to destroy it, I mean, I disagree with that plan. I have a couple of arguments with that plan, but at least you're like, oh, okay, fair enough. Again, don't be racist, but if you're gonna be racist, at least be effective, right? Don't destroy our economy, but if you are going to destroy the economy, make sure there's a plan behind it or something. And I just don't think with our cankle in chief that there is actually a plan behind any of this. And I talk about this because so many of the questions are, Eli, how do I get a job? And as I talk about, it's all about the macro forces, right? A complete moron can get a six-figure job when interest rates are 1%. A genius is going to be homeless when everything goes to hell. And guess what, boys and girls? It does look like everything is going to hell. So one of the big things that's going on currently is we keep being told that unemployment rate is still supposedly near all-time lows. I don't get this. Look, under Biden, that was stupid. Under Trump, that's stupid. Again, there's unemployment rate, and then there's workforce participation rate. There's all this crap going on. But anyways, we're told it's near all-time lows. So if you get fired or if you need a job, that sounds good. That sounds good because it's like, well, right, unemployment is still at all-time lows. So if I go out there with the right cover letter and the right resume, and I schmooze. I do what Eli, the computer guy, says, and I go to the meetups, and I schmooze, and I kiss ass, and I do all those things, then I should be able to get a job. It's like, yeah. But there's other things going on in the macro world. Because the issue is basically that hiring is frozen. Hiring has frozen. The hiring process is frozen at where we currently are. So the idea now is employees realize they do not have control of the situation. Bosses don't know what the hell is going on with the economy, so they're not hiring anybody. So people aren't quitting. Bosses aren't hiring new people. So we have an unemployment rate, but the problem is it's like static employment. Employees aren't leaving, employers aren't hiring. So if you've got a job, fucking keep your job. Because if you're gonna need to get a job, it's got to be difficult. And that's where we're looking at CNBC. Job openings in October slumped to the lowest level since February 2021, Indeed measure shows. This is also one of the things where you have to be careful, right? So when I come out here and I talk, right, I shake my brain nipples. There are a lot of people out there, right? They're like, oh, right? They take offense to my brain nipples being shaken. And they talk about during the dot-com bust. And they talk about the Great Recession, where they were fine. Right? They were fine. Ergo, everything that Eli the computer guy says is absolute crap. One of the things I want you to remind you though, even during the Great Depression, unemployment rate was only actually at 25%. 75% of the population still had jobs. There were people that became millionaires during the Great Depression. One of the things you have to look at with this is basically what's going on with the entire system and where you fall into place. Because one of the problems you hear from a lot of people is, I was fine during the last recession. Yeah, it's like, well, you know, if you had a government job, if you had a nice, good government job where it was literally impossible to fire your ass and we go into a recession, I'm sure you were doing fine. That's not necessarily what's going on with the rest of the population. So you do have to be careful about this. And so job openings now slumped to the lowest level since February 2021, since the middle of the COVID pandemic. This is the lowest level of job hiring. Employment opportunities hit their lowest level in more than 4.5 years as October came to a close and the government shutdown dragged on, according to data from job site Indeed. The firm's job posting index fell to 101.9 as of October 24th, the most recent point for which the data is available. The level represents a 0.5% decline from the beginning of the month and a roughly 3.5% tumble from mid-August, the latest point from which Bureau of Labor Statistics data was available, right? So literally, the level of hiring is down by 3.5% since the end of summer. The most recent JOLTS report for August also indicated an ongoing decline in openings. The BLS reported that job openings totaled 7.23 million, about level with July, but down 7% from January. So under Trump's economy, job openings are crashing. And, quote, hiring is slowing. We see this from Indeed, from job postings. Fed Governor Lisa Cook said Monday, quote, we're looking at a panoply of data, and those are real time. We're not waiting for the unemployment report. There's reason to be concerned because there's a slight uptick in the unemployment rate over the summer. So yeah, it's not your imagination. Getting a job is become harder and harder because simply there are not enough openings. This is one of the big problems, when I talk with especially with young people. They're trying to go out there and get a job. They're like, Eli, why can't I get a job? It's like, remember, you can't get a job if the positions don't exist, right? And when you have Trump, our Kenkel mafia boss in chief, like running rampage over our fucking economy, right? A lot of people are concerned about hiring. A lot of people are concerned about not having a job, and that basically freezes everything up. And so think about this, right? I've been talking about this for a while. I've been talking about the whole concept of 1,600 resumes going to one poor bastard that has to hire somebody, right? I've actually talked with CEOs. I've talked with CEOs and business owners, and it sounds miserable, right? Back in the day when I had my little computer repair shop, right? I talked about when you get 100 resumes. Do you know how difficult it is to sort through 100 resumes? Right, I've talked about that story. Holy shit. These motherfuckers are getting like 1,600 resumes for like a position or two. You know how you sit there and you're like, Eli, this job market is horrible. I sent out 1,000 resumes and nobody got back to me. Right, and you're all crying, yeah, right. Man, I'm thinking about the other side of that transaction. I'm thinking about that poor fucking bastard getting 1,000 resumes. And the interesting part is with those 1,000 resumes, if you send out 1,000 resumes, there is no way you're telling me you actually research those companies and have any kind of clue what those companies do and whether or not you actually want to work for them, right? You're just hitting apply. So imagine the person on the other side getting 1,000 resumes from dumb shits that basically just hit the apply button. They don't know what the company does. They don't know what the industry the company is in. They don't know why the company is valuable or what its history is or anything else. Job. And so you're getting 1,000 people that basically their mental gymnastics for trying to get a job with your company is they hit the apply button. Oh, the misery. Oh, the misery. What do you want to hire? That would be the point in time. You get like 1,000 resumes. And then you just sit there and you're like, you know what? Or maybe not. Maybe I don't need to hire anybody. So anyways, I don't know. This is what's going on with the current job market. Job openings are the lowest in 4.5 years as the layoffs are ramping up. If you're thinking, yes, it's hard to get a job, you are correct. So it's important. It's important to start getting your budgets in order. Make sure that you're living under your means. You can actually afford to take a job at 50% pay cut if you need to take that kind of job. Be thinking about where you're at. Is this where you're comfortable? Look at your company. Do you think your company will remain viable in the next couple of years going through this complete and utter disaster? Take agency for one goddamn time in your life. Take agency in your future. and try to figure out what the best path forward is. Because boys and girls, this is only getting worse. I am not narrating the end of our economy. I'm simply narrating each individual domino as it falls. So this is just another domino. We are so far from the end of this crap show. So what do you think about this? What do you think about job openings being at their lowest in 4.5 years since the middle of the COVID pandemic? What do you think about Trump's amazing economy? Is this what you voted for? When you hired a businessman president, is this what you thought you were going to be getting? What is your drug of choice for getting through the end times? Inquiring minds would like to know. Anyways, if you like these videos, give us a thumbs up. If you hate these videos, give us a thumbs down. Call me amazing, call me a dumbass. Just be a real strong American like Lutnick likes and give us a good comment down below. I expect your comment to be able to bench press the way American cows can bench press. Don't ask why American cows have opposable thumbs. You're not allowed to ask that particular question. Anyways, as you know, Silicon Dojo, silicondojo.com is what I actually care about. As said, look at that, SQL. This is our SQL class that we're doing tonight with artificial intelligence. We do these classes, again, approximately every 2 weeks. If you're interested, go to silicondojo.com. If you do want to support what I'm doing, again, free to the end user is not free. That's why I shake the brain nips. Again, printing out this whole stack of paper. I just took a look at what toner ink costs nowadays. Fuck. Right? If you'd like to support what I'm doing, there is a donor box link down below. And with that, see y'all later.